As of February 14th, 2018, there has been big changes to the campaign reporting and how information has been laid out. So in the screencast, we are going to go through the changes together. Here is an actual campaign report. I've clicked on the name of a campaign and under here, and I've brought to this specific campaign Northwell new testing functionality. So here at the top, you can preview your campaign. These are called headline tiles, and we'll get into detail what these are in a moment. Beneath that are your campaign details. This used to be at the top of the previous reporting screen. And then we have at a glance, and this is where you'll start to see specific statistics, and you can dig deeper in other places and see exactly who it was sent to, who opened, etc. There is a delivery report here. If there were soft bounces or hard bounces, you would see them. There is an opens map. Beneath that, you have engagement on the left, interaction. So one important thing to remember now is that engagement are your opens and interaction will be your clicks. And below here we have top links and clicks. This is similar to the way it was before. In this campaign, I really only had this one link, but any links you had in your campaign would all be listed here along with their statistics. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to this PDF, and we're going to go through each section together in more detail. So at the top, we first saw this report title and preview. Just to let you know, you can click on this icon. It would show you your campaign, your full campaign, to remind yourself what it looked like. And then beneath that, there is these three additional ways for you to view and use your report. So on the left, you have a filter. This was in your campaign report before. Also, it allows you to filter by a specific address book or a segment, and just see which contacts from those lists have clicked or opened. Report actions allows you to print your report or compare the campaign side by side with other reports. These both were available previously in your campaign details at the top. And more reports, so this will be very useful to you. This drop down is what this is over here on the right, just to show you what that full drop down looks like. To find the list of contacts that make up any specific statistic, you would have to click on the stat here in the drop down to see the actual contacts in that statistic. From there you can do your export, and that will look exactly the same. The headline tiles. So the first one on the left has, this example has yahoo.com. It says most contacts who open this email had a yahoo.com email address. So there is a bit of analysis by email domain available within the reporting. So this is just a headline of what that is. The second one here is your email client breakdown. This is telling you most people open it with an iPhone. And the third one is just a random statistic highlight, one of the most prominent changes maybe in your averages comparing this campaign to previous campaigns. So this one says this one had a 9% higher click to open rate, or this rate of 9% was 73% higher than your previous campaign. My previous campaign probably didn't have a link in it, so it's why it performed so well. And then this last one here is really only for e-commerce clients where ROI tracking has been enabled and turned on. It will show you the dollar amount, how your ROI is performing for this campaign. Campaign details. So again, this is the section here that used to be at the top of your email. It used to be in a blue shaded box. If I go back to the email, it's this section right here. So you can see the date that it was last sent. You can see your subject line, your from address. You could start tagging your campaign report or your campaign itself. So if you had not put a tag, you can easily just type one in here and click the green check mark. And then here are the lists that it was sent to. So you have your seed list. This is how I send it. I have the seed list, my users, my account owners. And then so if you've since deleted an address book that a campaign was sent to, the list will still be here, but you won't be able to click on it. See how it's shaded, and it'll cross it out. And that's indicating that it's no longer available, but it'll still be here and it'll be listed. If this is a remail, it'll say non-openers of, and then the address books that you've selected, so it'll be clear. And if you use dynamic content, There will be lightning bolts. That orange lightning bolt is the same lightning bolt that you see when you're actually creating your email campaign. So you'll see a lightning bolt next to either the subject line, if that's where you used it, to indicate that there was different content there. So our next section is this at a glance. And this is where, as I mentioned before, you'll start seeing the actual numbers of your important statistics, like sent, opened, clicked, and this just includes replied, unsubscribed, and ISP complaints. Clearly, there's more statistics than just these in your report, and that's where this more reports drop-down comes in, where you can see your non-openers, or your page views, or look at your hot prospects report, and additional things are here under that drop-down. So going back to the PDF, I laid it out in such a way so that I could show you where things used to be, what it used to look like, and where things are now. So before, once you got into the details of your campaign report, this is what the top of that box looked like. We had email sent and email delivered. So under the sent numbers, you'll find it in that at a glance, but you'll also find it under more reports and email sent. And this delivery chart here also kind of shows you the breakdown. It does not telling you what's delivered. It's not giving you that amount, but it is showing you if there was an issue. You'll visually see it. So the less you have of this blue and the more orange you have, or light blue for the hard bounces, will indicate that less were successfully delivered. And if you need to see bounces, you can find them in the more reports drop down. Under delivery, we had engagement. So if you remember, it was unique opens, views, and forwards. Some of these that sound very similar to each other, your social network views and your non-openers. So now this is just called engagement. So beneath the at a glance box, you'll see this. If I flip over to the actual report, this is a different report than my PDF, but it looks mostly the same. So here's that engagement box. So if you scroll a little further down, here are your opens. These are the total opens. These are your unique opens, non-openers, and then social shares. So when I hover over it, you'll see where there's an option for you to click View Full Report. And if I do that, this is just that list of people who opened the email, along with the number of times that they opened. To jump back to the screen we were just in, you could go to More Reports and go to Overview. And here we are. So if you're looking for total opens, or what the report used to call views and forwards, if I go back here, this is that total opens, that big number, 1,714. And that's what corresponds to, that's the same thing, different report. So my total opens are 336. And my unique number here is 144. My non-openers, etc. So if I go back here, this is just showing you for engagement, the statistics related to opens. You need to look for unique openers, your non-openers, and your social network views to find the people who make up those statistics and export those lists. Next, we have interaction. You can think of that as clicks. So before, this is what it looked like. We had unique user click-through, link clicks, click-to-open rate. So unique user click-through, again, those are your unique clicks. So 41 people clicked a total of 61 times. And this is what that interaction box could look like. If I go back here, since there was just one link in this campaign that I happened to use an example, that's why it looks this way. So we have 17 total clicks, which they just call them clicks. So if I go back here, link clicks is the same thing as just clicks. And now we have unique clickers, 3. So 3 people clicked a total of 17 times. And there's that click to open rate, 2%. And page views is 0. Page views is kind of like that ROI reporting that I mentioned before. There's a specific tracking code that needs to be put on your website that would then allow the platform to track a contact of yours when they go from the email to your website, and how many pages they viewed. So in addition to that, underneath the More Reports drop-down, the related statistics are unique clickers, replies, links and clicks, and link hotspot. Link hotspot, you may not have used this. It was not that it was hidden, but it was on top in your campaign details within that blue box at the top. It was on the right-hand side, kind of near where you could print your campaign report. You could click on it to see. It's a visual representation of where in your report, or where in your campaign, sorry, people were clicking. And that's just the same thing, but now you can find it under the More Reports dropdown. So links and clicks is also here at the bottom, similar to how it was before. This is probably the least changed of everything, is that the links are at the bottom of the report, just as they were. And the same information would be under links and clicks. There it is, broken down by HTML versus plain text. Okay, and if we hop back to here, the next is that remove section. So your bounces, your unsubscribes, and your complaints. It looked like this. So again, the really only visual representation we have in the overview is this graph here. And again, if you see a sliver like that, that's pretty good. If you need to dive in to see what caused those soft bounces, you would come to your More Reports and go to soft bounces. And then you'll also see unsubscribes, ISP complaints, hard bounces, and you'll see that list of people who make up those statistics as well. So if I go to soft bounces here, there were none, which is fantastic. I'm not sure there were bounces for this one. Let me see. Yeah, that's pretty good. But they would be there just as the opens were, just as the clicks are listed, and you can export that information. So what's been renamed? Not too much. Views and forwards. I mentioned this before in that engagement section. We often refer to them as the total opens, just to distinguish them between unique opens. They're now just called opens, and we find them in that engagement block, that first number on the left. Just remember, it's usually your largest opens amount. It's just that general opens total. Previously, we had something called hot prospects, and now it's called most engaged. Again, this was maybe another part of the platform that is really helpful, but maybe underutilized. We have most engaged here. And you can set these parameters yourself. So what it does, it's finding your contacts who are opening and clicking the most, and you set a minimum. So I want to find all my contacts who opened this campaign at least 3 times and clicked once, and it'll show you them here. Has anything been removed? So the only thing is the forward to a friend tracking. So the forward to a friend link, it's not just when you you open up your Outlook or Gmail or whatever, and you say, oh, I want to send this to my friend, and you just hit the forward button in your email client, meaning Gmail or Outlook, and you type in a new message pops up and you forward it off. That's not what I'm talking about. If you use the forward to a friend link when you were building your campaign, so that the email campaigns, the editor's link, we used to track that, so we could see how many people or which contact clicked that forward to a friend link and how many addresses they put into that form, and we were tracking that against the contacts. So this is no longer being tracked. What is still being tracked is if the recipients that you forwarded to, if they've opened the email, those opens will be counted against or recorded against you, the person who forwarded it. So you may have only opened it once, but you forwarded to 3 people and they each opened it once, so you will see a total of 4 opens for your statistic. So that is really it in a nutshell. Just to go through it once more to sort of bring everything together, we have the filtering abilities to look at specific lists just like before. Your report actions are printing it or comparing it. And More Reports is really where you'll be spending probably a lot of your time looking for specific contacts or pulling reports of a statistic. And then we have the headline tiles. These are just a quick summary, quick wins from your campaign. takeaways, if you will. Beneath that are your campaign details. And then as we go below, things get more specific. So at a glance, then down into engagement, interaction, opens on the left, clicks on the right, followed by your links at the bottom. One neat thing about the clicks, if you've been utilizing link names and link groups, you can start to see, since there's only one link, visually it's not going to make sense, but if you're using different groups in your campaign, it'll start to show you clicks by group. So this is where that really becomes helpful, to use those groups within your campaign, and the queries and the exports that you can do with that information to conduct new campaigns. And that is it.